believe in this kind of a God that wants us to be where we are, so that from that place we can grow into the fullness of the being He knows we are. We become joyful. And let's be honest, joyful people don't kill or cheat. Joyful people don't cheat on tests and exams at school. People who are filled with joy don't put others down so that they can be lifted up. Joyful people share what they have. They share life that they have with the unborn who are struggling for it against a society and even a government who would exterminate them. They share with the elderly and the sick their health by praying for them, writing them a note, visiting them. When you're joyful, think about it. When you're really happy, you don't snap at the people you love. You don't suddenly find yourselves off and alone and isolated because you pushed everybody away. People gravitate to you. They want to be around you. You are a son, and they want to be in your orbit. Gaudete, the church says. Because when we understand that to know this God and to be loved by this God, and it takes the extraordinary, magnificent wonder of realizing it's living in the now that we can do it, well then in that power and in that grace, we change the world. Joyful people understand that the flow of the Holy Spirit in us comes to us where we are, as we are. Everyone in this room today is given the gift of joy to enable them to do what God is asking them to do in their moment, to study for exams, to prepare for the Christmas holiday, to make sure that things are right, to budget correctly once time. And if we're not joyful, well, then take a reality check on this Gaudete Sunday. Why not? Am I trying to be so much in control of my life that I give God nothing to do? Do I demand so much of my spouse that I'm making them into my image by my love instead of the image of God as God asks me? Do I listen enough in the world around me to its beauty and its wonder so that I go through it realizing that every day is a gift just to be in it? Heroism does happen, but it happens with people who start by understanding that God's love for me is for me, not my image of me. It's for me, not who I think the perfect person will be. The devil's greatest weapon is to teach us that if we can't do it perfectly, we shouldn't try it. Joy comes when we realize that what good news is that God's not asking you to do things you can't do, but that things you want to do and can do are often in His plan. What a surprising, glorious surprise, indeed it is, to find out that my will and God's is often the same. Gaudete, to rejoice. St. Paul writes in Philippians chapter 4, which we heard proclaimed as our second lesson today. He says, "Rejoice. I say to you again, rejoice. Let everyone see how considerate you are in everything you do." And then he says something very, very powerful. He says, "Pray about everything. Don't worry about anything." You see, when you rejoice, because you know this God loves you that much, St. Paul says to us, when that happens, there's no need to worry. One last thing. Well, maybe not last, but one thing. Probably. Joy is not happiness. Our church does not say, be happy today. Happiness depends on situations. Happiness depends on whether I got what I wanted or the person that I needed to date is being dated by me. We get something we looked for and we're happy about it. Joy is much deeper. Happiness depends on the passings of situations and times and seasons. Joy comes more deep down to the realization that I and my own self am loved and cherished, and that nothing can take that away. And so even when things are difficult, even when I face illness or the death of a loved one, when I have trouble at school, or my parents don't understand me, or I don't understand my kids, there is a sense that I'm not alone in trying to figure this out. And so I never, ever allow anyone to steal my joy, to take it away. Not my schedule, not my BlackBerry, not anything that interrupts my life and says, pay attention only to this. Because when all of life gets narrowed down to one little thing, that's a good definition of hell. The ever-broadening opening of life and joy is a pretty good definition of heaven. May Jesus, who rules over heaven, prayerfully our hearts, King of mirth, the God of joy, may he be praised forever.